Hi, my name is Jade and I'm the Customer Success Manager here at Redii. I'm here today to take you through the new updates to the bulk user import, and as you can see in front of me, it does look quite different to what it used to look like. The biggest change here is the top section of what you can choose as your unique identifier. As a unique identifier, this is the detail of your employee that it connects it to the Redii system. So much like you have an account number, the email address acts as that. What we've given the option is, rather than having just the email, you can choose the option of having the staff ID as this identifier so that you can update people's emails in bulk through the system. This is especially useful if you have a large amount of employees, and even if you don't, a lot of HR systems that you use now are all connected via staff ID. So if you're exporting data from another system to put into here, it'll make it much easier for you. Not only does it connect to that person, but it will use a staff ID to connect a manager to the system. So rather than having to get a manager's email, you'll be now getting the manager's staff ID. We see this as a regular occurrence in a lot of other systems, so we want to make sure that you have each option rather than having to manipulate data to make sure that email is the connector. So what I'm going to do today is go through uploading a spreadsheet in here with the staff ID instead of the email. You can choose email and you would follow it exactly the same steps as you did before. However, if you ever did want to change over the staff ID, which would be great for people, as I said, for people with large amount of employees, it depends on your system as well. It also makes it easier to update people's emails as well because you can do it in bulk. So just move over to using the staff ID instead of clicking email address. So we do have some things we need to take note of before we download our template and make some changes. So we can't change the column names. All the columns that come up all need to stay the same. You also have to make sure that there's no circular references. So I can't report to myself, or I can't report to Gemma, and Gemma can't report back to me. So it's circular. And basically that's it. Everything else you can put through in the manager references. You can also not change a person's email address or staff ID using this tool, as it will create a brand new user. So it depends on what you've selected. So if you click staff ID, then you can't change someone's staff ID because it'll duplicate the account. It's as if it's their account number and they're creating a whole new account for them. And if you've selected email address, you can't change the email. You have to make sure that email address is the same every time you go in there. So depending on what you choose, you can't change those two aspects of the client. And then you've also got your start and birth dates need to be in the date, month, year format. Otherwise, they won't upload correctly. And also, if you're popping through country details, you just have to make sure you're using the correct country codes. These are universal codes. Australia's AUS, NZL for New Zealand. If you have a few different countries in there, there's a link here that'll take you straight through to what they all are. So what we're going to do first is download the template. So you just click on here. It'll download automatically. You can see it's popped down here. And we're going to open this up. So what this template will show is the exact details of everyone in the system, actively in the system now. You will notice that if you've used the bulk import before, it's a bit different as some of the columns have moved around and obviously have different names. So I'm using the staff ID. So the first thing is the staff ID. So this is my identifier with the program. And then you have all the other details that you've had in here before. So first name, last name, email, their job title, date of birth, work start date, basically going through all them. The other notable thing here is that it's a manager's staff ID. It's not the manager's email anymore. However, if you have selected email address and download this template, it will appear as the old template in the fact that it'll have the email and then manager's email. So what we can do here is make some changes. You can see down here one person doesn't have a staff ID already. So what we're going to do is pop in one there for him. So we'll go 11235, whatever the actual staff ID is. We're just making it up a little bit today. So what will happen now is that person, because they've never had a staff ID before, now it'll start to connect that account. It won't be a duplicate account. It'll connect that account through it. But if I had gone in here and now I changed this person's staff ID to 112356, that means that that person that's not going to change their staff ID. It's going to create a whole new user. So there'll be two Peter Jones in there. So if someone already has a staff ID, You cannot change it. You must leave it the same. If they don't have a staff ID to begin with, for the first time you use this option, you can put one in. You can go through and change it. So if you need to change someone's email address, so we'll just pop that in there. You can see that it'll change that email to there. We also noted that our dates are not in the right format, so we'll go through and change the date format so that it's as per the requirements. So we want date, month, year, which hasn't. Let's do that again quite quickly. We want this one. It's a bit hard for the examples 14, but you'll note that it'll have a 0 in front of anything that's one digit at the front, and that's when you know it's correct to go in. Again, you have your manager's staff ID. So this works exactly the same way as it did before. You just pop the manager's ID in there, and it will automatically bring it together. If you put a random number or that ID doesn't exist, it'll throw back an error and say manager's ID does not exist. So let's make here Kyle, and he's going to report to Carly, and so she is 10280. So I want 10280, and now he will report to her through the system. We don't want to change any of the departments. However, you could fill this all out if you wanted to. I'm going to leave it at that for today. So all we have to do is now close it, save it. If you're pulling this data in from another system, you could easily download this template, remove what everyone has in there currently, and then just copy paste the columns in. As long as it's the same so as long as everyone has the same staff ID and it's that's fine. You can pop that in through that way, and it will upload any changes that are different from the actual system. However, if you're only making a few different changes, you can do it like I did just there, or you can always do a VLOOKUP and look at any changes that's from your system that you're moving into. If you have any specific questions around how you can do that or how you can use Excel to fasten this process for you, please reach out to jade@redii.com, send me an email. I'm happy to have a look for you and see the best way. So all we need to do now is upload. So once it's saved, I'm going to choose to send new users in the system an email saying welcome. This is completely up to you. If you want to wait a little bit, then don't tick that and we can do it later on. So all you have to do is upload. There will be a confirmation. So you just need to confirm that you click the right thing. So just to make sure, yes, I want staff ID. I don't want email address. Yes. And all I need to do now is find our template 77, uploading, and it'll automatically take you to this page where you can see how far it's going. You can refresh it. And as you can see, it's all processed. 32 rows processed, no new users, 32 people updated. You can see all the updates here, all the current. And you can go through them if you want. If there is an error that does come back, like this one I've done 6 days ago, it'll show a toggle here which will actually bring up the error. So this person here, their manager ID was not found. So Andrew Culligan, the person who I was making Andrea report to, was not found. It was a random manager ID. It did not exist. And it's come back manager ID not found. This way, you can go back into your spreadsheet and maybe it was a typing error, or maybe that other person has actually left now, that manager, but something you can look into. And then I would suggest updating Andrea's details directly from her account rather than doing a whole new upload. It makes it a lot easier. And second, you can see Tracy, we didn't put an email. So she's got a staff ID, she's got everything, but she's got no email. Even though the staff ID is now the unique identifier, every person has to have an email. It's how they log into the system. So don't think you can remove that. It has to stay in there. However, you can untoggle that, see the errors. But again, you can see lots of different, we've got a no error there again. And then you'll also have, if you accidentally upload, here we are. If you accidentally upload the wrong spreadsheet, so you've chosen staff ID, but maybe you're meant to do emails, it'll say wrong identifier chosen, and you can go back and upload it with the correct one through there. I won't go through and show you how to do the emails because it's exactly the same, just changing the email in there rather than the staff ID. It is also how we currently use it, so there is no change to this process, and the template looks the same as well and goes through. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration and find some benefit in a new staff ID. I definitely, especially with larger clients and certain systems, that this will be hugely beneficial and save you lots of time with updating your employee details. We are working on future integrations that will make this automatic. However, in the meantime, we want to make sure that it's as easy as possible for you. If you have any questions, again, reach out to jade@redii.com. We do have our support team on hand all the time. So you have support@redii.com, and you also have our 1300 856 356 from 9 to 5, and call that through. Thank you.